What's up guys, Saf here on SuperSaf TV, and we are almost at the end of 2024, and that means it's time for my top 5 smartphone picks of the year. Now as always, there are a few disclaimers before we start. I have used lots of different smartphones this year, as you can see, but I've not used every single one. So no doubt my list will be different to your list, and that's absolutely fine guys. We can still be friends. Drop your favorites down in the comments below. And this list is in no particular order. I'm just giving you my top 5, but I will be revealing my favorites, my daily drivers in the upcoming SuperSaf style collaboration with all my friends that we do every year. So if you want to see that first, then do subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss it. Now with all of that out of the way, let's get to the list. So the first smartphone in my list, once again in no particular order, is, well, let's do an iPhone because there was no iPhone featured in my mid-year list because there was no new iPhone out at that time. My iPhone of choice in 2024, it's an obvious one. It's the iPhone 16 Pro Max. I use my iPhone 16 Pro Max every single day. I like the larger display. I love the consistent cameras. And I still think as an overall camera package, it is my go-to. We've still got some of the best video quality on any smartphone with 4K 120 frames a second, which other smartphones do offer, but the amount of control that you have on that slow motion is the best on the iPhone in my opinion. We've got amazing battery life and exceptional performance with the A18 Pro, which handles anything that you throw at it, and it's also great for console level gaming. Now, of course, the main headline feature for the new iPhones was Apple Intelligence, but the new iPhones didn't launch with Apple Intelligence, and it has been a rollout, and we still won't get all of the features until sometime next year. But so far, from what I've been using, although I don't use all of them, the ones that have really stood out to me, notification summaries, somebody that's on so many different group chats, it's nice just to have a quick summary and really see if it requires my attention or not. And the other Apple Intelligence feature that I have been using is recording audio and then generating transcripts and summaries. And this is so useful for meetings. And we have to talk about the camera control button. I'm going to be completely honest with you, I pretty much never use it. And that's something that I've found with my peers as well. Everybody that I've asked has said, I don't use it at all. Now, I think Apple tried to go for the best of both worlds for portrait and landscape shooting, but in doing so, they've made it impractical for both uses. When you're using it in portrait, it's too low. When you're using it in landscape, it's too in. And like many others that I've spoken to, they've just stopped using it altogether. But despite that, the iPhone 16 Pro Max is an amazing smartphone, and it's definitely one of the best of 2024. An honorable mention has to go to the iPhone 16 Pro. If you're somebody who doesn't want a huge smartphone and doesn't want to really have any compromises, then the iPhone 16 Pro offers pretty much everything that the iPhone 16 Pro Max does, apart from that larger display and the battery life, but you still do get things like that 5x zoom camera. Now let's move on to the next smartphone on my list. Now, this smartphone was actually one of the first smartphones to release this year, and it still holds up. It made my top 5 list in the mid-year video too, and it is of course the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Now this is just an amazing all-rounder. It ticks all of the boxes. I really do like the new flat display with Gorilla Glass armor, which reduces reflections and really makes a big difference when you're viewing the screen day to day. The new 5x zoom camera performs really well for portraits, and it's also great for extended zoom. We've got the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy across the board, meaning we've got amazing performance. And then we have the S Pen, which is something that I don't use every day, but when I do use it, I'm so glad it's there. Samsung has promised 7 generations of Android OS updates, which is amazing, and they've actually lived up. I've had lots of updates on my S24 Ultra, including new AI features. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't use all of them, especially some of the live translate features. I think they are very, very specific, but there are some AI features which I've gotten so used to that I can't live without. Summarizing web pages is something that I use pretty much every single day. Instead of having to read a long article, just getting a quick summary is so useful. And I absolutely love sketch to image. Now, this is a bit of a fun feature. It's something that you might not be using every day, but it works so well. And I've had so much fun making memes and things with friends, and people are just like blown away when they see how good the results can be. Battery life is also good, although I would say it's not as good as some other smartphones out there. And I do have to give some honorable mentions to the S24 and the S24 Plus, which give you a lot of what the S24 Ultra offers, but at a lower price. Now, although Samsung did absolutely amazing with the S24 series, one area where I think they were kind of lazy and didn't do so well is with their Fold series. The Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 does not make my top 5 list because it was a very incremental update. And instead, we've got much better foldables, in my opinion, at least when it comes to the hardware. And the one that's right on top for me is the Honor Magic V3, and that is the best widely available foldable in my opinion. It's an impossible 4.35 millimeters when it's unfolded, just 9.2 millimeters when it's folded, and it weighs 226 grams, which means that on your day-to-day, with its 6.43-inch cover screen, you can use it as a regular smartphone. But then when you do want to do some gaming, multitasking, or something that requires the larger screen, then you can reveal that beautiful 7.92-inch 120Hz display. The hardware on the Honor Magic V3 is honestly mind-blowing, and we have a huge 5,150 mAh battery, which they've managed to fit in to this compact form factor with 66 watts of supercharging and 50 watts of wireless charging. No compromises. It has an IPX8 rating, and we've got flagship level cameras, 50 megapixel primary, a 40 megapixel ultra wide, as well as an ultra slim 50 megapixel periscope telephoto camera with 3.5 times optical zoom. Performance is great with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, and although we don't have as many years of software updates promised compared to the likes of Google and Samsung, we still have a respectable 4 years of OS updates and 5 years of security patches. We have some useful AI features such as face-to-face translation, but we don't have many generative AI features like we have on the competition. But nevertheless, this is easily one of my favorite foldables of all time. Now, I have to give some honorable mentions to other foldables that we saw this year. Samsung, although they didn't do a great job with the Fold 6, we do have the Fold 6 Special Edition, which is what the Fold 6 should have been. That wasn't widely available, and if it was, then that might have made my list. Vivo did an amazing job with the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro, and Huawei with the Mate X-T, the world's first triple foldable. I was absolutely blown away by this, and I really wish Huawei was still fully in the Western market so I could purchase it easily. Unfortunately, it's like $5,000 and I don't have $5,000 to spare. Google also did a great job with the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, which is a huge step up in hardware compared to the previous generation. But the Pixel that made my list is the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL. Now, I've always loved the visor design that Google have had for a few years. I think the Pixel 9 Pro and Pro XL have a great evolution to this unique visor design. It's probably one of the only smartphones out there that's not going to rock on the table. You've got a beautiful 6.8-inch LTPO display. We've finally got an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, which works really well. And we've got great cameras with that pixel look, which I really like, especially for video with video boost. In my SuperSaf style camera comparison of the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL versus the iPhone 16 Pro Max, in many instances, I actually found the Pixel to have better video quality with video boost. Being a Google device, Google have promised 7 years of OS and security updates, and we've got some really cool AI features. Some of them might be gimmicky, but the one that I found myself using quite a bit was Add Me, and it's such a useful feature, so much so that there's been many instances where I've not had the Google Pixel with me, and I've wished that the device that I was using had Add Me so I could use it. Now, as much as I love the photos and videos that come out of the Google Pixel 9 Pro, one area that they definitely have to improve is with portrait mode. Portrait mode was really hit or miss on the Pixel 9 Pro XL in my experience. Hopefully this can be improved with software updates. And although video is amazing, it does need to be uploaded to the cloud, processed, and it has to come back a few hours later. And if you're somebody that's not very patient and wants to post stuff straight away, then this is definitely going to be a disadvantage on the Pixel. And although the performance is absolutely fine for your day-to-day, with the Tensor G4, it just doesn't live up to the performance to the likes of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 or the Apple A18 Pro. Now, if you are somebody that's after performance, you love gaming, then the final smartphone on my list, once again in no particular order, is going to be the smartphone for you, and that is the ROG Phone 9 Pro and Pro 9 Edition. Now, you might be thinking, hold on, Saf, is this not a 2025 smartphone? Well, Asus went ahead and released it super early in November, and it's still 2024, so I'm going to count it as a 2024 smartphone. Now, the ROG Phone 9 Pro is an absolute beast. You've got the Snapdragon 8 Elite mobile platform. You've got up to 24 gigabytes of RAM with 1 terabyte of storage. And if you're somebody who likes to game for long periods of time, then with the Aeroactive cooler, it's going to keep things super cool for sustained performance. Now, although this device is built for gaming, it still is an excellent smartphone regardless. You've got a beautiful 6.78-inch 185Hz display. It's got IP68 water and dust resistance. It's got some of the loudest and best speakers you're going to find on any smartphone. And you've got a huge 5,800 milliamp hour battery, which will keep you going all day long. But most importantly, it has an Anime Vision mini LED display at the back with 648 dots, which means you can have custom animations, you can have useful information such as your battery life, the time. But now you can also play retro games on the back of your phone. Is this a gimmick? 100%, but it's a very fun gimmick. Now, realistically speaking, how much are you going to be playing games on the back of your smartphone when you've got an absolute beast on the front of your smartphone? I don't know, but I just think it's such a cool thing that makes it stand out. Now, one area that ASUS definitely need to improve on is when it comes to software updates. They are only promising 2 major OS updates and 5 years of security updates, which when you look at the likes of Samsung and Google is just not enough. But that aside, if you're after the best gaming smartphone that you can buy right now, my pick would be the ROG Phone 9 Pro. And that brings us to the end of the list, but there are some honorable mentions. The first honorable mention is the Honor Magic 6 Pro. Do you see what I did there? This was featured in my mid-year list, as well as the OnePlus 12, the Nothing Phone 2a, as well as the Poco F6. All great devices which still hold up, but of course we do get recency bias. You can check out my video of the mid-year list if you want to see more details about those smartphones. And although I wasn't hugely impressed with the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6, I was very much impressed with the Z Flip 6, which in my opinion is the best flip smartphone you can buy right now. The Oppo Find X8 Pro with the Dimensity 9400 also gets an honorable mention. I've just not had enough time to test it out. And some of the new Vivo devices as well. Unfortunately, I've just not had them in hand as yet. They are on the way. So we'll cover those in future videos. And that is my top 5 smartphone list of 2024 with the honorable mentions. What are your top 5? Drop them in the comments below. Remember, our lists will be different. We can still be friends. And as we've had every year, we will have the SuperSaf style collaboration with all of my friends. So be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss it. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do smash that like button for me. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV, and I'll see you next time.